PD Beats here from Pop Turner, speaking to Jordan L. Jones about season 3 of Bel-Air, premiering August 15th on Peacock. Welcome back to the show, man. It's good to see you again.
Great to see you again, man. Hey, man, time flies, man. Season 3 already.
Time flies. I remember, I was doing a little bit of, I wouldn't say prep, because we have a lot to discuss, and I'm excited to chat with you about it, but I was looking at our first interview, and we talked about, remember, Uncle Phil, Will just yelling all the time.
Yeah. Yes.
Which was classic. I mean, it's crazy because
I still haven't got thrown out yet either.
I know, and that is jazz. I'm telling you, man, we have not seen that yet. Maybe we'll see it in season 3. Who knows?
Maybe.
Well, you know what? And I feel like it's cool because we talked about this last time for season 1. Now it's 3 seasons later. I mean, are you still getting used to the idea of we've seen these characters before, but we've never seen them in a way like this ever before? Or are you kind of understanding that? Because we've seen all these characters before, but it's just taken to a new level. There's different it's more serious at times. What is that like for you and the cast specifically 3 seasons later?
Man, so that's a great question. I would say that we are in the swing of things now. If you want to be honest, I feel like the show is so different, like you said. So season 1, we're getting to, show the viewers hey, yes, it's similar characters, but this is different storylines and stuff. So now, season 3, I'm just the character. I'm not honing in on the old jazz, or Will, or how they interact, because now we already have our own relationship. Mm-hmm. And so we know how that goes, and it translates on screen. So it's nothing that I'm thinking about or trying to get used to. No, I think we know who we are at this point for sure.
100%. And season 1s are always tricky, eh? You have a little bit of an advantage because we've seen Jazz on screen before, but I feel like it's not an advantage because this is so different.
Yeah, it wasn't. And DJ Jazzy Jeff, he told me that. When I met him, he just said, dude, keep doing you. Don't worry about what we did and everything, because this is new. It's a revamp. It's a reimagining. So whatever you bring to that character, now that's you. Now I'm this Jazz, he's that Jazz. It's not one thing. And it's great that we have the support of, the ones that came before us to trust us, to be absolutely what you're doing, just keep doing that. So yeah, it's been great.
So much happens before you go to camera on a season of Bel-Air. There's discussions, there's getting into the mindsets, there's so much, there's Zoom chats, there's probably, table reads, there's so many things. So in a lot of ways, Jordan, from an acting storyteller perspective, you could see it as 2 separate journeys, right? Before filming Bel-Air and after filming Bel-Air. Or do you see it as one big journey with multiple steps from an acting storyteller perspective? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think that the latter, I think it is one, whole process that, especially when you are a character, I'll say that, it's easier to get into that character. They give us the scripts, before, so we break that down, we read it as a group. And then at the table read, that's when we're sitting there okay, we're reading it for the first time, and we're okay, how could I play this? How could I do this? But it's nothing that's conscious. It's just something that's going on. So we do that, then we shoot, the scenes, and probably I would say 1 episode per every 2 weeks. So every single day it's kind of a new journey, but it's all together as a conglomerate.
Absolutely.
Man. So my process is it's just kind of just happening. And it's easier when you love what you do as well, because you don't think about okay, this is what I got to do. And then when I get home, I got to learn this and yada, yada. It's all just my life, and I enjoy it all. So yeah, it's a
100%. No, it's so crazy. And you can answer this in regards to season 3 if you'd like, but obviously no spoilers. But that script to screen journey is really cool, right? It's really magical at times to kind of, read something and then go film it. What's that like for you on Bel-Air, specifically with season 3 on Peacock, kind of reading these scripts and then actually going and filming it?
I think that's the most beautiful part about all this, because you have the writers who, obviously they write the words down, and this is the direction they want to go. But I'll take the words, sometimes switch the words, and they also trust us as actors to be okay, your character. So if you don't think you would say this, or you'd say this a different way, or you'd react this way, they really trust us. So what I enjoy is obviously reading the script, and then once we rehearse it and stuff, and I'm with my scene partner, now we know we can play. And then when it comes to screen, you be like, damn, I remember that script didn't even say that right there. And they kept it and they trusted us and we went a whole entire different direction. So that's a great a part of this process is actually just like being trusted and know that you know your character. So no matter what comes out, it's gonna be perfect. So seeing that, and also one thing that's annoying though is that, like you said, like, we come out season 3, August 15th. I might have shot stuff in January, but I don't see that. Like, I don't get a chance to see it until
No.
everybody else does. So I'm excited to see how half this stuff came out or plays
Well,
out.
I mean, the life of an actor, it's very kind of on to the next, and it's very like, that's a wrap. And then, all of a sudden, August 15th, it's like literally out of your hands. And
Yeah,
then on Peacock. You
literally.
think
Nah, literally out of your hands, dude. It's crazy, dude. That's the crazy thing about being an artist. You do all this art and then you have to wait to see it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm a creative as well. I got some short films in the can, so I'm there with
Okay,
you.
okay, bet. Okay, bet. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Lovely.
It's
Lovely.
crazy. It's the hurry up and wait. I feel like, well, with the actors,
Dude, somebody said this the other day. They were like, yo, they don't pay me to act. They literally pay me to wait.
and it
I was like,
depends,
I'm
right?
gonna
Because
take
it's like, my next question is like, how separate are past projects or current projects versus Bel-Air, right? Like, you're working on different things, and like, do you ever bring things mindset wise, preparation wise, to something
mm,
like Bel-Air or vice versa, or are they completely separate? Because like you said, they're all different, and you're waiting, and you do like 2 days here. Like, how separate are
yeah.
projects specifically?
That's a great question. I would say that like I completely separate them.
Yeah.
Uh, you kind of depending on the role is a certain way that you can approach it. So, if I'm doing like, kind of like a timepiece and and I'm in the 1960s, my approach to that script is way different than like Bel Air as of for me, I wouldn't say that me and the jazz character are similar, but we're definitely more similar than other roles.
Mhm.
So this because I also know this character, like the smoothness of him, the insecurities of him. It's easy when I see the lines to boom, I know exactly how I'm going to react, exactly how I'm going to play this. And so to answer your question, yeah, it's completely different. Like if I'm working on another project, I do not do the same stuff as when I'm working on Bel Air.
I like. I wanted to know in regards to like when you play characters, because like Bel Air will always have, and even Fresh Prince of Bel Air had this. Even though it was like a family sitcom, it always had that coming of age, self reflection, slice of life perspective of it, right? Will
Sure,
Carlton growing
sure.
up, Jazz,
Yep.
Jazzy Jeff, and everything, and Jazz. So I'm just curious, what is it like? And more characters than others in Bel Air have this, right? What's it like in regards to playing these lost characters? Is it more fun? Is it more challenging? Because the crazy thing is, Jordan, a lot of these characters like they don't know they're lost, right? If you think
Yeah,
about it. So I'm
yeah,
just curious. Yeah.
great question. These are great questions, by the way.
Yeah. That's why you came back on the show.
Yeah, right. I was like, I want that. No, but I would say that number one, I enjoy it because it gives a character more depth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, it's funny how you bring that up because there was one scene in season 2 where Jazz is with Hillary and his card declines and he's very insecure about it, right? And she's like, I don't care, like you might have money, it's just decline, I'll pay for it, whatever. Didn't want to let her pay. So we go back to her house. We get into a whole entire argument about like, if this was LaMarcus, you wouldn't have said anything and yada yada yada, right? And at first, not that I struggled with it, but I was telling the writers, I'm like, man, I would never do something like this. Like, I would never show my insecurities, blah, blah, blah. And they go, stop right there. You said you're not Jazz. And
Hmm.
so sometimes I'm so in the character that I'm thinking that it's me, right? And I'm like,
No,
nah,
it's not you. You're
I'm
not
not gonna
lost.
say this.
Jazz is lost.
Dude, and when they said that, it really changed my whole entire perspective of like, sometimes you're gonna like stuff, sometimes you're not gonna like stuff, sometimes you're gonna want your character to go this way, and it might not. And I accepted the fun and being lost.
Mhm.
Like I think what's also great about us is that we get a script like per week. So we don't see like if we're shooting episode 2,
Mhm.
we haven't seen episode 3 yet.
Yeah.
And then by the end of shooting episode 2, we'll get the script for episode 3 and read it for the first time to be like, oh wow, he's going this direction. Oh my God, we're breaking up. And so it's fun to live in that moment. And it took me certain scenes to realize, like, dude, no matter which way, you have all, facets of life. So you know exactly how to go through all of these things. And this is just another person that's going through these things. You remember how you went through these things. So kind of act like, and
Absolutely.
so it's been fun just with the whole entire Jazz character and season 1, him being like the smooth, like kind of always say like a Jiminy Cricket for Will,
Yeah.
and having all the answers for Hillary, and then season 2 going into okay, more about Jazz. What about him? Okay, he has certain insecurities. Okay, he is a go-getter, he's a hustler, but he also is a person
Yeah.
going through things. So that when I honed into that, instead of being like, man, season 1, he was cooler. He ain't never had no problems. Like, what, season 2? Like, she's gonna break up with him to leave. It's like, no, like that's great. It's great to play that role, and people can relate to that role more than somebody who's just pops in cool. It's like, okay, yeah, he's cool, but like, who is Jazz about?
Oh my goodness. What you just said is a perfect segue to my last question. It's almost like you knew what I was going to ask. Cause like, it's kind of coming back to the beginning of this interview, right? Where like, this is kind of like, characters based on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the most popular, one of the great sitcoms of all time. It's a more serious kind of, tone. And we've seen these characters like we've never seen before. So is there this tricky push and pull as an actor with the original source material? Where like, do you ever think about, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Is it its own thing because it's so different tone wise? Like, I'm just curious about that because you've been dealing with this now for 3 seasons, right?
Dude, great question. The answer is no. So for me, Fresh Prince and Martin are
Sorry,
like
because
two of my
the reason why I bring it up is because you bring up like, Jazz and like being kind of like funny and goofy in Fresh Prince.
yeah,
And like, he's
sure.
not like that in Bel-Air. You know what I mean?
At all.
So yeah.
At all. So it's interesting you say that. Like to go to sleep every night, I sleep with the TV on, and I go to sleep to Martin or Fresh Prince.
Mhm.
Those are the two, like for me, still to this day,
Yeah.
business shows, coming of age, kind of like what you said. I go to sleep to that and don't even think about Bel Air.
Mhm.
And when I'm shooting Bel Air, I don't even think about Fresh Prince. Like I've separated them
But they're
completely,
not. It's not.
right?
It's not. It's different. Like it's not.
Dude,
It's its own thing.
it's so different. Like I'll watch certain episodes of Fresh Prince. Now I will say that, dude, the casting for Bel Air
Mhm.
is just ideal because I'll see certain parts of myself in DJ Jazzy Jeff. And for me personally, I think Jabari and Will Smith are like the same. Like
Mhm.
when I watch Will Smith and Fresh Prince, I'll be like, damn, that's Jabari, man. Like they really did so well for this. So I do see parts of us
Mhm.
in those characters, but the shows are so different
Yeah.
in the best way. In the best way, they're so different that even just subconsciously, I'm not when I'm watching Fresh Prince, like, man, here we go. There go everybody from Bel Air. I don't think that. I
Yeah.
don't think it at all. And I think it helps us because even though I'm playing jazz, I don't think about that I'm playing jazz. I just
Totally.
think about playing this character who is from South Central, who has this friend who is trying to help navigate through his city. He has this girlfriend that he's trying to navigate that whole relationship. He's got this record shop. Jazz from the original didn't have all
Mhm.
these things, didn't have all these problems to deal with. He didn't. So it's hard for me to even try. Just say if I were to try and be like, okay, what are the similarities? It wouldn't really help me as an actor because Jazz didn't go, I can't watch an episode and see stuff that Jazz did in the original and be like, I'm going to bring that because our situations are so different. Jazz was really, really funny in the original. Um, and my character is funny at some points, but really not. Really
Not
just like,
really. I was
yeah,
about to say like
like
I was about to
yeah,
say maybe
like,
more in season 2 because we're learning more about him, and maybe season 3 we'll see.
yeah.
But totally no. But that's so well said. It's so interesting to think about though.
Yeah, dude, it is. And I'm sure people definitely think that like, okay, is he acting like just, oh, I can see the
Yeah, they're going
similarities,
to be
right?
similar
I
100%.
think that's just us making choices in our own shows that are similar,
Yep.
but not a conscious thing of like, okay, right here, like, okay, in this record shop, okay, Will's gonna walk in.
Mhm.
What would Jazz do in the original?
No,
It's not
totally.
like that. Now we do pay homage, and
Yeah.
we have our own handshake too.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
kind of like the original, because that's something that's like, okay, we are still similar, like
100%. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's for sure. And season 3 of Bel-Air is going to be premiering on Peacock August 15th. So we
Yep.
gotta check that out. Jordan, so great catching up with you, man. Thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me, brother. You already know. Anytime.
Absolutely. Your Instagram account is just your name if people want to keep update with everything.
Yes, it's just Jordan L. Jones on that. On Twitter, it's Jordan L. Jones _ TikTok, Jordan L. Jones. Just Jordan L. Jones everywhere.
Absolutely. This has been Popturnative, youtube.com/Popturnative. Previous episodes. Popturnative.com has other content like this as well. Jordan L. Jones, of course, reprises his role as Jazz in season 3 of Bel-Air, premiering on Peacock August 15th. Till next time, this is Jordan and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popturnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popturnative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.